Hello, I'm Adrian Hill, Technology Manager at Morris Lubricants, and today I'm here with Charlotte Vowden.
Hello.
Writer, journalist, adventurer. Now Charlotte has got a big challenge ahead with her father Steve. They'll be taking their 1960s MGA sports car up past the Arctic Circle. So pushing everything to the limit. Go on, tell us all about it then, because this sounds epic. You're on an epic journey with your 1960s MGA. Mm-hmm. So what was the inspiration for it? Why do you want to do it? What's the sentiment behind it? What are you trying to achieve?
I want to prove that there's a future for the internal combustion engine, because there are so many vehicles, like billions of them on the planet. And the fact that this car is 64 years old shows that if you really take care of things, they can last a long time. So that's, that's a really good lesson in sustainability. And by doing this journey to the Arctic Circle, I can show that these vehicles still have a place on the road. And, by using Morris Lubricants, protecting the components and things like that, it's also making them more efficient, which makes them cleaner.
Absolutely. Right, so your challenge is going to be in your grandfather's MGA, 1960s model. Give a bit of history to the vehicle, and obviously how, your granddad's involvement with it, just so you can paint the picture, give us a point to start from.
Well, she is a beautiful picture to look at. She's a 1960 MGA. She's got a voluptuous bottom, but she was actually built for American export. So she spent the first 30 years of her life in California.
Oh, I see. Better weather than the UK.
Oh, yes.
Actually, yeah.
Which is one of the reasons why she's in such good condition.
Yeah, I can imagine, yeah.
But she was bought back in 1990. She was converted, resprayed this beautiful chariot red. And it's at that point that my grandfather purchased her. A racy retirement present to himself. A very good choice.
A very good choice, absolutely, yeah.
And so I grew up with this car in my life, always the passenger, the Lady Penelope to the Parker. And he did look like Parker, actually, had the big bushy eyebrows.
Brilliant, but no strings attached.
No strings. And he just used to enjoy the car on sunny days, on holidays, doing rallies with his friends. When I inherited this vehicle in 2017, I had never driven it before. I hadn't really paid attention to what my granddad was doing. And the first time I drove it, I couldn't even get the handbrake to release because it's a racing handbrake. So it's a nuanced process. Yeah, absolutely. So, there's no power steering. There's no assistance to manoeuvring this vehicle whatsoever.
It's a proper physical job. Oh, right, okay, yeah.
And changing gears, this is a real sort of secret touch to it. So that whole process took me a long time to kind of, feel comfortable driving the car. And from that point, I just thought, I've got to do something more exciting, do some longer distance journeys.
Wow.
The learning process, the learning curve was terrifying, empowering, amazing, and life-changing.
I can understand.
As a writer and a journalist, it was natural to me to tell the story. So I started to do that.
And people should follow your story because it's a very interesting story on Frisky, as we call it.
Absolutely. So the name of the car is Frisky because of the number plate, FSK 302. And I think it goes nicely with that racy, kind of fun car.
Slightly daring, slightly pushing the limits.
That's exactly how I use this car. My granddad took care of her and my dad, a mechanic by trade. He takes care of the mechanical side of things, and I'm the one that brainstorms ridiculous ideas and expeditions that we can go on because You're
the wild card.
I am the wild card, absolutely. And the car's got a few adventure freckles now, which is, a few chips in the paintwork, which is a sign that we've really used her and enjoyed her. And she's been absolutely life-changing for me.
Yeah. Oh, it's a shame these kind of vehicles are kept away in a garage somewhere. So to be wheeling her out, certainly into foreign climes as well this time, over to Scandinavia.
Yeah.
I'm sure your granddad would be very, very happy to see you trundle off across the channel to do that.
Absolutely. And I think this car is proof that if you really take care of things, they can last a really long time. 64 years old, and it's going to travel 6,000 miles round trip to the Arctic Circle. It proves that if you look after a combustion engine, it will last. If you use the right products in that combustion engine, it will last. It will work more efficiently, and it will be cleaner.
Yeah. And this probably one of the hardest journeys you've done in the MGA? It's going to be the toughest challenge for you? Have you done anything similar before?
I have driven some of the UK's toughest roads in this vehicle, from Hardknott Pass to Balaknabar in the Highlands. You've got steep switchbacks, you've got 33% gradients in places, and a car like this can do it. But you have to know how to drive it, and you have to know how to take care of it so that you're both in peak sort of condition in order to achieve the goal that you want to do. And I've done sort of things, a lot of driving with my dad, and he's kind of been my tutor, not only in taking care of the car, but also driving the car.
Of course, yeah.
A couple of years ago, we did 2,000 miles in 46 hours and 59 minutes.
So it's already had a good road trip, and that's obviously pushing it hard. So that's kind of that's endurance anyway. So this is a different kind of endurance. So what's this road trip going to entail in terms of distance and, you know, kind of timings?
So this road trip is going to be a round trip of about 6,000 miles from the UK to the Arctic. We are going to be traveling to the furthest northernmost point in Europe in this car, 5 degrees within the Arctic Circle. We're going to be traveling through 7 countries.
Wow.
The terrain is going to be different everywhere we go. The climatic conditions are going to change. There are going to be a lot of variables that will kind of put myself and my dad, who's doing the trip with me, and the car to the test.
So excited, nervous, both?
Excited, nervous, but also just really keen to get going, because my dad is a mechanic by trade, and he has really, really put hours, weeks into preparing this car so it's in the best condition. Yeah.
And how long will that take you? What kind of time period do you think that'll take you?
So we have set ourselves 8 days to get to the Arctic.
Excellent.
Which is going to be quite a challenge. We will be driving up to 500 miles per day. And that's not only a stress on the car, but it's also a stress on ourselves. We take the driving equally, so we take it in turns to navigate drive. And we use things like that.
Safe as well, keep the whole experience safe.
Absolutely. And that's safety is something that's really important, because, as I mentioned, this car belonged to my granddad. And every time I departed on a journey, whether it was an ambitious one, a mundane one, he'd always say to me, "Drive safely, sweetheart." And I've actually got his photograph in the windscreen, and on the back of it I wrote, "Drive safely, sweetheart." And I look at it.
That's an incredible sentiment,
yeah. And I look at that photo when I'm tired and I think, what will he say?
Yeah.
So, you know, and my dad and I are very good at, you know, making sure that we don't push the limits too far, that it becomes an unsafe mission. But you just don't know what's going to happen on that road ahead, particularly in an older vehicle, because, you know, they do have their quirks. And a journey like this is going to be a stress on the vehicle. So you just have to be prepared and prepare not to fail by planning.
I like that.
And this will be the furthest this vehicle has ever been from home in the UK under my family's custodianship. So it's a big thing.
So it's exciting times.
Absolutely. And, you know, you've been with me on this journey.
Absolutely.
When I took over the custodianship 7 years ago, we had those conversations about how I can best protect the car. I didn't know about any of the lubricants and the greases and, you know, those workshop items that you need in your arsenal to take care of it. And you've given me so much advice. So it's really amazing to now be at this point.
And I think it's right to have those conversations, because this is different. This is different kind of workload for a vintage and classic vehicle. But because we take so much care, not only formulating, you know, the lubricants for all the modern vehicles, you know, the self-charging hybrids, you know, the plug-in hybrids, all the way down to classic and vintage, we still apply the same amount of care and technology to these older style lubricants. So they are fully suited to the equipment, to the gearboxes and the differentials, etc. So, you know, having a conversation with you and fine-tuning those fluid requirements means, again, you've got a good basis to start from, a good, secure, concrete foundation to work from.
Absolutely. We've got a flag, we've got decals, we've got everything to be representing Morris as we take on this challenge. And,
Perfect.
You know, so my family, we've always relied on Morris Lubricants from farming when my granddad was alive. My dad's a mechanic and I'm now an automotive adventurer. So we've always relied and trusted on the products, you know, from engine oil to workshop essentials. But this is going to really kind of test, you know, the golden film range, but also the other products. No pressure, guys, you know. But yeah, you're going to be with us on this journey, but you've also helped us to prepare. Cool. And I think that loyalty is because the quality has always been so consistent.
We appreciate it. Thank you very much for talking to us today.
Oh, pleasure.
So if you'd like to see any more content like this, please visit our website or our YouTube channel.